Rants at the Movies, a podcast where we rant about films you may have seen at house parties. I'm one of your hosts and jack of all trades, Mono, and being a complete bitch to everyone not from New York is my co-host and master of none, Kira.
Oh, that's everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But that's not it. Flying in on a crocodile-themed helicopter to cause mayhem is today's special guest, Ian from Cult Connections.
Hello, guys. Thanks very much. It's actually, it's nice to get out. It really is. I don't do many guest slots, so mostly because nobody actually asked me. So it's really nice to come on.
No, well, we're delighted to have you. But would you like to tell the folks a little bit about yourself and where they can find you?
Yeah. So my their podcast is Cult, their connection. So film, their sort of TV, a little bit of their sort of music, things like that. But and it's there's a different theme every their sort of week, and we generally talk about three things, which are they're sort of connected, and there's some their way. So hence the name, and you can find me on all your podcast apps. So I am out there. So just look for Cult Connections.
I listen myself regularly, and it's great. I have to say, you are way more knowledgeable than either of us when it comes to movies.
I wing it there, Mono. That's how it works. If you wing it with this sort of confidence, then the folks don't actually seem there to notice. But
and we've been trying to get you on for a while, in fairness.
Yeah, so I know it was not so good, was it? So we were all set up, and then I wasn't well. I was flawed. I had this the virus, which absolutely wiped me out, and then for yourselves work, I know that your night
work schedules. So. But instead of doing a monster film for the last week of October, we're doing a monster film for the first week of December.
It is a horrible month.
But we're talking Lake Placid today. And I'm not quite old school, but old school feeling monster flick from 1999.
Yeah, definitely. It has. It almost seems like their successor to, say, like the sort of Jaws or the Alligator, or going further back, some of the 50s, the sort of B films. It has that sort of feel there to it, but also it's a very late this sort of 90s film as well, isn't it? It has all those their sort of elements as well, and it's a good fun film. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I have to say, revisiting it, I had completely forgotten how much of the dialogue is hilarious and how completely horrible most of the characters are to each other throughout it.
Oh, I've always loved this film because it's monster doing monster thing. And I like it when monsters.
You've been waiting for this for ages.
I love Lake Placid. I'm stupidly fond of this. That cow getting nailed by the croc.
Yeah.
I love that. And you reminding me that was the same effect that they used in
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, of the cow getting hit by the car.
You know, I can't remember the name of the character, the bank robber guy, Babyface Nelson. He shoots a cow and
then
he
runs
crashes
it over
into one. And the CG effects that they used were based on were from the same company, and they just used the same CG cow that they had for the croc biting it.
Quite right, yeah. Yeah, I love that, actually. It's funny. I watched a terrible sci-fi film from the 1991 Dead Space, which reuses this sort of model work from the Battle Beyond the Stars.
All right.
Which is reused millions of their time. So there's lots of really bad 80s sci-fi films that have that their model work, and I was like, I've seen this before. But why not? You know what? If you're working on this sort of budget, it's absolutely fine. It's good stuff.
This holds up really, really well, though, I have to say. Again, it's Stan Winston. So Stan Winston effects rarely age badly.
It was a fully animatronic basically real crocodile.
Yeah.
That went in the water and did all the things that was needed to do, it was always going to hold up.
Yeah, minimal
and it makes
CGI.
such a difference.
Oh, absolutely. We always bang on about it over here on Monorants. Practical effects.
Practical effects will always hold up.
I think even though, and wider than that, like they sort of quality wise, they sort of the cast is really good.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah.
Good quality actors. The music, the cinematography. It's all all this sort of quality work. It's good stuff. There's nothing really bad about the film at all. So it's
no. I have one or two very small gripes when it comes to this film, but we'll get onto them in due time.
Yeah,
we should probably go for our normal summary before we dive into specifics.
The attempted summary.
Yeah, I normally mess it up, but we'll try and get through it in one go. When a grumpy asshole sheriff is witness to a grisly death on a lake in Maine, a mean asshole paleontologist gets sent by her asshole boss to investigate a prehistoric-looking tooth found in the dead body. Once there, she teams up with the sheriff, a know-it-all asshole fish and game agent, and a crocodile-obsessed asshole to track down whatever asshole animal keeps killing on the lake.
Yeah, everybody's an asshole, and I love it.
I just couldn't get over it watching it back the first time. Everybody's so horrible. Particularly Kelly. When she gets to Maine, she's really not happy with anybody.
Why does she have the can of Raid? It's like only why would you do that? That's so stupid. I'm sorry. You're outside. It's not going to help. Fucking dumb bitch.
It's interesting though. I was watching it, and obviously seen it at today the time, and I've seen it a few times this or since, but haven't seen it for quite a while. But one thing I get from it is that I know where they want to go with the characters, especially the leading they're sort of two. So Bridget Fonda and Bill they're sort of Pullman, and I can see what sort of angle that they're working at. But to be fair, those two feel a bit under. They're sort of written actually, so it's like you want a sort of 1940s style sort of romance where they're sort of firing off each other, zippy, their sort of dialogue. But Bridget Fonda's way too over the top, character-wise.
A lot of shrieking. I do love though when she keeps slapping the sheriff in the boat when he throws the moose head at her. The moose
head bit is brilliant.
Yeah. But there are times where it is.
She takes the being afraid of Maine thing so far, it's impossible not to be offended. Everything. I'm not from America at all, and I'm really offended on behalf of people from Maine because she just keeps going on about how horrible they are and how there's no manners and how they'll all go deliverance as soon as they get into the woods. And it's non-stop.
And why is she so snippy about everything? Because they ask her a genuine question, which is, why would a museum send somebody to look at a tooth?
Well, I think it's not so much why have they sent her to look at the tooth, it's why are you hanging around so long after you've looked at the tooth?
Yeah, you can just take it and fuck off. But she gets so defensive immediately, and it's like, oh, okay, calm down.
But yeah, the chemistry is a bit underwhelming between...
There's more of a love story between Sheriff Keogh and Hector Cry.
I was about to say that the dynamic between Hector and the sheriff is way better than anything between Kelly and Jack in the film.
Yeah, definitely. I think actually that those two are the better written their sort of characters. You probably could have gotten rid of Bill Pullman's character and actually merged him and Brendan their sort of Gleeson they're together. And to be fair, you might have had a more their sort of efficient film. I think that the two characters, you don't need two law enforcement people, I feel. So it almost feels like a little bit overkill on that sort of sense. They could have tightened it up for me with that.
Yeah, Bill Pullman is very underutilized in this. He's just kind of there. He is very forgettable in this.
Yeah, and...
which is a shame, because I like Bill Pullman.
Yeah, I mean, you were only bigging him up last week.
Yeah, But like he is forgettable in this. He does just kind of fade away, except for times when he's standing there, kind of doing his charming smirk.
And especially once Hector shows up.
Yeah, that he's gone.
Yeah, definitely. I do feel there's one sort of character too many there, so it doesn't really work for me.
Though that said, I can't see cutting anything out of this film. It's very short. It's like
It's well,
I
you
mean,
know
it's not
what?
in a bad way. It's just it's not even. It's what 80 minutes, if that 75.
Just about 80, 90.
I think it's 1 hour 22. Yeah, and
Oh, maybe you had a longer version than us. You might have had a couple of extra scenes.
sounds like it, doesn't it? But actually, you know what? And I like that. I actually like a film that's there an hour and a half or slightly shorter than that. And I go back and I do watch a lot of this sort of vintage their stuff. I cover things from the 30s onwards on my show, and like a regular run sort of time would be 1 hour, like this sort of 20 minutes for lots of films, lots of main their sort of features, but what it gives you is a tightness to the their sort of story. So there's nothing extra. There's nothing, there's no sort of flab to it. It gets to the point. The story zips along, and you see it, especially with the modern films. There's not many that are less than an hour and they're sort of 45 minutes,
Yeah.
if not longer. And I like the fact that it's a good length.
Yeah, it'd be very similar in that. Yeah, we'd like kind of that 90-minute mark, maybe 90 to an hour and 45. And I think same, you can keep it good and punchy and keep people's attention without it dragging on too long. Obviously, there's exceptions, but generally, yeah, I think you should be able to tell a story in 90 minutes.
Yeah, once you don't overcomplicate it with stupid bullshit.
Yeah, and there's very little chaff in this story either.
No, they do cut it really well. It starts off with guy going to tag beavers, guy getting the shit scared out of him by said beaver, guy getting eaten.
Yeah.
Cue fish and game guy. Or like it moves along, it just goes bam, bam, bam. It's like, I'm not going to Maine, then she's in Maine.
Yeah, there is that kind of I'm not going there cliche. If I'm not doing it, cut to them doing it.
And it does it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the start moves along really quickly because you're cutting between scenes of her in New York and scenes in Maine until they join up, and then they get to the lake pretty quickly, and then the rest of the film is just on the lake.
Yeah, with Mrs. Biederman.
Yeah, with the occasional detour to Betty White's house. Who's an absolute shining star in this film.
Oh, I love me some Betty White.
It's really interesting about that one. So I did have a good sort of troll through her back, like this sort of catalogue, as it were, just to have a look and see, because certainly if you're my age, then Betty White is they're the Golden Girls.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They're sort of comedy, their sort of roles, but quite sort of fluffy sort of comedy, maybe quite sort of safe sort of comedy, and there's an edginess to their Betty White in this one.
Oh yeah.
Certainly language wise, so she comes out with a few things, and you're like, oh, okay, right. I didn't see that one sort of comment.
One of her first lines when she says that her husband died, and the sheriff says, we have no record of that down in the office, and she goes, oh well, incomplete records haunt me so. Sets her character up straight away, and it just continues the whole way throughout the film. Anytime she shows up, it's just brilliant. It's so funny.
So I had to look to see, because obviously Betty White's been around since the
before sliced bread.
60s, really.
Yeah,
early.
She's older. She was older than sliced bread. I love that.
But so actually looking at her work, and she hasn't done any other sort of horror type of film at all. Oh. And I know this is a sort of comedy as well, so that fits in for her. She's got two other they're sort of thrill. So she's in two. They're sort of thrillers. So she's in one. So she's in an early 60s their thriller, and then she's in something else round about the same time as this film, which is another thriller, but no sort of horror type stuff at all. And I was a bit. I would have liked to. I would have liked to have maybe thought that she would pop up in some other stuff like this, but no, it's fairly much. It's all sort of comedies mostly that she's in. A few sort of dramas, but it's mostly sort of comedy work. So it's absolutely brilliant seeing her in this role. I think it's
Oh yeah. If this is the only kind of horror role we get her in, I'm glad it's in this.
yeah. She's in action film Hard Rain with Morgan Freeman and Christian Slater.
Oh, I do like some Christian Slater.
But it is the you mentioned it earlier, the kind of the level of the cast in this does really help when you've got Brendan Gleeson and Oliver Platt and Bridget Fonda and Bill Pullman, and then Betty White all as your main characters.
Absolutely,
and the kind of the few deputies and stuff that are supporting are fine. You don't really focus on any of them too much, except for the one that Hector would like to sleep with.
It's an interesting character. I found this one. I found this Oliver Platt, and I was like, and he turns up and he gives a great their sort of performance. He's obviously he's based on like the likes of Steve, this sort of Irwin sort of people like that. So and not really a role that I would see Oliver Platt in.
Yeah,
it's not. I would be like, this is quite. It's he's obviously funny in it, and he's great at that. He is a great funny actor, but this sort of action, crocodile hunter style sort of figure, and I was like, well, yeah, you pull it off really well. He's he's really great in it.
He does. He pulls it off really well, but I love the bit towards the end where Kelly comes to see him in his tent and he gives her his little speech about staring into the eyes of the dragon and it having more dignity, and she's like, stop the bullshit, and he just goes, nah, fuck it. And all the stuff with Brendan Gleeson is just brilliant.
Oh, and all his pit traps.
All his back and forth and the pit traps, yeah.
And the snares. And he's walking around with his penis out. Startled me.
Building up to the fight, as it were, at the end.
When he tells him he knows karate. In karate. You're supposed to say go in karate.
Yeah. He didn't say go. You're supposed to say go.
You hurt his feelings.
I will say, actually, when we were watching it the second time, I was just like, the dialogue is so good, and I looked up the writer, and it's David E. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And he has written and created a ridiculous amount of shows. Did you happen to look into it at all yourself?
I didn't look at the writer, no, which is not like me. I usually would. I think I focus more on the director for a change, but okay. Oh yeah, lots of.
I normally would focus on the director as well, but I looked at the writer this time just because I was curious. David E. Kelly has created Big Sky, Goliath, Mr. Mercedes, The Crazy Ones, Harry's Law, Boston Legal, Boston Public, The Practice, Ally McBeal, Chicago Hope, Picket Fences, and Doogie Howser, MD.
Nice.
And that's not even everything.
No. Doogie Howser, MD. Now, interesting about that one. Now you mentioned then the Ally McBeal, because I do believe that the Bridget Fonda was she was she was the actress that they wanted for the lead role.
Oh right.
She didn't want to they sort of commit, I think, to a big sort of TV show, and actually turned it down. So yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, that makes sense now. Actually, I think she did this film so that she could work with him.
All right. And I did notice that when I was looking up her credits, she actually after around 2001, 2002, didn't do much in the way of acting. So maybe that's why she wasn't interested in taking on a TV role. Because Ally McBeal ran for what, like 5-6 years?
I don't know. I never watched it.
All right.
I didn't.
Bridget.
All I ever saw was the weird dancing baby, and that was enough for me. I was like, nope. Also, Calista Flockhart was so thin, and her head scared me because proportionately it was so much wider than it should have been. And I didn't like as a teenage girl, I didn't like looking at that.
No.
So I didn't watch it.
But when you think of, say, like Boston Legal, and I know Ally McBeal was kind of known for that. That was a lot of quippy dialogue,
yeah, well,
back
Peter
and
McNichol
forths.
and stuff like that, and Boston Legal with William Shatner.
William Shatner and David Spade? No, not David Spade.
No, James Spader.
James Spader, sorry. That would have been
Daniel Jackson.
That would have been a very different show if it was David Spade.
That would have been. That would have been like a weird Spin City mashup.
It's interesting. Bridget Fonda was in a car accident actually in 2002.
Oh, that might be why.
And then she got married. She got married to Danny Elfman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And still married there to Danny Elfman, but yeah, she hasn't worked since. I think she's raised her family and just and it is a surprise because obviously Bridget Fonda is acting this sort of royalty, as it were. She
go
comes
Danny
from...
Elfman as well because she is gorgeous.
Yeah. Mind you, if I married Danny Elfman, I wouldn't work again either.
I know, but would you marry the man?
He's bringing in that Simpsons money, that Tim Burton money,
that Oingo Boingo money. Because they're actually on tour at the minute. Because I follow him on TikTok.
But in a way, I think it's quite. It's. I mean, Bridget Fonda, obviously, so she's, stopped making films, but a little bit sad in a way in that, the generations of their Fondas. I hope that there's a new one that comes along and, takes up the mantle of the name. It would be a great one to sort of carry on if there was another Fonda out there who's gonna, they take up the mantle of the Hollywood sort of star. That would be, brilliant.
There is a whole load at the minute of kind of Hollywood stars from that era whose kids are acting now. Obviously, for us, the one that springs to mind is Jack Quaid because he's on The Boys. But there's loads of other.
Oh, there's tons of them. You've got Max Irons.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood's son,
Scott. Scott Eastwood.
Yeah.
He's basically like just Clint in his 30s.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. He was in the Suicide Squad. The shit
of course, yeah.
Patrick Schwarzenegger is going to be in Gen V.
Yeah.
There's a whole load of them. There's a whole rake of them. Right
yeah,
there.
so there's a
well.
Fonda-shaped hole in the acting community
what's
at the
his
minute.
name that was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Captain America with the dummy head. He's Goldie Hawn and
Wyatt something.
His dad was in Soldier.
Wyatt Russell. Thank you.
I was literally going to be like the computer wore tennis shoes because that was the only movie I could think that he was in. Oh god!
But yeah, no. So I think you're right. There's a Fonda-shaped hole in the acting community at the minute.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think there is. Yeah. 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 Definitely. The Dustin Hoffman's son as well. I know he's been in. He's been in a few things. So.
We missed the obvious one. Brendan Gleeson's sons.
Yeah. Don't know.
Oh, of course. And now I've got a question for you guys, actually. Yeah. So the Brendan Gleeson, obviously great, Irish actor, and so how does it feel when you see him? Because I thought accent-wise, and he was great in this. But is there this sort of, how do you feel when you watch him and think of his their sort of accents? Do you kind of pick up on it, or do you? Do anything like that?
It'd be more turn of phrase and mannerisms. Yeah. He doesn't hide it in this either. He does play into it a good bit.
Yeah.
But
The accent, yes, not. It wasn't so much the accent. There's one or two bits at the start where the accent's a bit dodgy, where we can kind of hear the Irish coming through.
Nobody can
But
shout not in an Irish accent. Michael Fassbender especially cannot shout in not an Irish accent.
Yeah.
It comes out. He's from Kilkenny, so that's going to
But
happen.
Kerry.
I think,
No, he's Kerry.
Is he Kerry?
But it was.
Oh, no. Cillian Murphy can.
Yes.
He can.
I'm sure Brendan Gleeson can as well.
Yeah, but it was because
it
he's
was
a
the turn.
dub.
It
So
was the turns of phrase.
Yeah.
When we were watching it yesterday for our second watch through, there was a couple of things we picked up on. The way he refers to people as sarcastics, and he refers to Hector as a mental a couple of times.
That's a real common
That's a very Irish and particularly Dublin thing
thick.
to do is to say you're like he's a sarcastic because he calls. Isn't it? He says to Kelly, or he says to Jack, she's a rude sarcastic, so you'll get along.
Because he's one of them comedic sarcastics.
Yeah.
He calls him a mental, and it's very, very common in Dublin to hear somebody being called a thick.
Yeah.
English people insult people by calling them an absolute something.
Yeah.
We'll call you the object. We'll call you a spanner, a spade. So calling him a mental is it's a really Irish thing. Because
but he is Sheriff Keogh though, so we were like, he could be Irish. He could be, second, third generation.
When Hector's like, I don't know your backstory.
Yeah.
It's interesting. That's a thing. He could be actually, couldn't he? Obviously, they're America's based on their sort of immigration, so he could well be Irish. That's the thing. And it's like in this sort of Fargo, isn't it? So trying to remember the name of the state, this sort of Minnesota, I think it is. So North Minnesota, and that's where all of the Scandinavian the sort of immigrants settled.
Yeah.
So
they have that amazing accent. I love the Minnesotan accent. Yeah. Donna from Supernatural. When she's
sure, you betcha.
Yeah, it's so sweet. And you can hear the Scandinavian in it. We have friends who are Finnish, and when they speak English, it would be a very similar cadence. So you can hear it in their accent. I love it so much.
Now, an interesting bit. Now, I know that I know for yourselves, you love the boys. Now, talking about actors and when they start shouting and their accents they come there through. So obviously the boys are sort of superheroes, flawed superheroes.
Yeah, to put it mildly.
Yeah, But if we go back to Superman 2, so Terrence, the Stamp, brilliant actor.
Oh yeah,
I love him.
Yeah,
So the General Zod and the Terrence Stamp's very much he's doing his English actorly, this sort of voice, so he's got all that sort of going on. Now there's a scene where he's in, I think is it he goes to the Daily Planet, and he's on the television, and he's calling out for the Superman, and he starts shouting, who is this Superman, and you can hear his Cockney accent come out. So everyone should actually go back and watch that they're scene there just to hear the Stamp go all sort of Cockney just for that sort of brief bit. But I love that.
Oh, and in that outfit as well, that would be amazing, because he was proper acting in that to offset the super low V cut of that like unitard thing.
Yeah.
Go all Cockney in it. No. I just had an image of Brian Placid in it, and that's going to haunt me for a while.
That's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you.
Uh-huh.
Moving along, I think the only character we probably haven't talked about is the monster himself, the crocodile.
I know, they never really give him a name or refer to him or
No, well, it's definitely a male because we see a smaller female at the very end.
Spoiler.
We do spoiler. When we have guests on, we do spoilers.
He's a big boy.
But it's still, it looks great. And it's only on screen for just shy of 4 minutes. And
At least he didn't try and kill anybody like the actual Jaws one did.
Oh, yeah.
Because it kept getting waterlogged and malfunctioning. Yay.
No, there was reading a fair bit in the trivia about the kind of construction and stuff. And that was one of the
main concerns.
The main concerns was
Well, 'cause-
water. Like, this
yeah.
thing is going to be in water all the time, so we absolutely have to make sure it works.
As well, when you look at Jurassic Park, the T-Rex it got waterlogged and kept malfunctioning and nearly crushed a guy to death.
Yeah, I don't think there was any near deaths on this.
No, but that was probably the biggest takeaway they've had from anything they've had to build, is make sure that it can be waterproof. Yeah. Because it is going to get wet at some point, even if you don't think it will.
Yeah.
And this one was definitely going to get wet.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely going to get wet.
But yeah, no, and it's a testament to all the people who made it, because it's still, 22, 23 years on, it still looks fantastic, particularly the scene where it's right up close with Hector. And you have the overhead shot of Hector and then this incredibly long beast.
As well. And then when it goes for the decoy and you get that full body lunge out, it's really nice.
And even the couple of quick CG shots when the deputy's head gets taken off, leaning over the side of the boat. It's only a quick shot, but it still looks well. But yeah, the few times you do get to see the croc in its glory, it looks great. It really does.
And that's the thing, and I think actually using it, sparingly is the way to go. I mean, if you think of, say, the Alien, a great film, a fantastic looking film, but one of the actual highlights and one of the things that actually ramps up the sort of tension is you don't see the actual this sort of creature that much, and this film actually does it in the same way. Now, obviously, there is this sort of budget and sort of practical reasons for it, but it's funny because we live in an age of this CGI where we see everything. So their blockbuster films now are, you get all of the sequences, and they're all sort of huge. And then if it's a space film, there's like spaceships everywhere, and they're a superhero film, and buildings are being blown up, and there's sort of havoc going on all over. But I love the thought of actually you don't need to show something to make it work. Actually, that the tension and the thrills are still there, even if you just get a sort of glimpse of what's going on.
Yeah, and that's something that we always end up going on about as well. Is especially in any kind of horror setting. As soon as you see the monster in any sort of like full light or in its entirety, it's less scary.
Look weird. It better be scary in the daylight.
Yeah,
because there's no point in giving me glimpses of something and not following through on it.
Alien 3 is the one we always end up talking about when they tried to be like, hey, look at this CG, and they put the alien in full CG and you see it practically in full daylight and it just looks crap. Alien Covenant did it as well.
Yeah, but even more modern remakes, like we watched It, and I absolutely adore the original of that.
Yeah,
I love Tim Curry in it. I actually have full-blown coulrophobia, and I love that, which is surprising. I think it's because he is a clown that kills.
So that's what you expect of clowns.
Yes, I expect clowns to eat your face, so I can watch that. But in the remake of it, and not to shit on Bill Skarsgård or anything like that, but I just found him not scary.
Yeah, they give away too much too early.
Because they tried to make him so much more evil looking. They failed and made him stupid, and you lost it at the very, very start when he goes to get Georgie.
Yeah.
And he goes cross-eyed when he goes to bite him, and that was it. You were gone.
I laughed, and I just couldn't. After that point, I was like, he's not going to be scary to me.
The girl with the shards in her eyes, she was scary. But Pennywise himself, no. He was just ridiculous. And even the way he moved and everything was just weird and creepy. And those children had plenty of time to leave.
Yes.
But it just didn't have the same impact as the Tim Curry one did.
No. And this film, and we covered a couple of weeks ago, we did The Relic. And that was quite similar, if a little bit more gory. and also studio effects
Stan
done by
Winston
Stan Winston
effects, yeah.
Studios.
So again, another live creature, and that thing is fucking weird looking. It's
Yeah.
weird and creepy, but then when they do the DNA breakdown on it, you kind of go, oh yeah, it's got the fangs and the yeah, cool.
But it has the same. You
But
never
it looks
see
good.
you see it a bit more than say you do the crocodile in this, but you never get it full until towards the very end of the film. And
then
it's way
like
more
right
effective.
up in the face as well.
It's all I think it's way more effective.
Yeah. But when you have a good creature, even something like this that is basically in full daylight most of the time, or murky underwater shots, and it holds up the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again practical effects always win. Practical effects always win.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because being 1999,
the trend very much was CGI as well.
It was, yeah, and I'm trying to think. I watched. What did I watch? There a few months. I watched End of the Days. So the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, I have it upstairs.
We're actually considering doing it in a couple of weeks.
I went on a mad buzz a couple of months back and basically bought every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie there is.
So is it worth doing for the podcast? You give us a sneak preview.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's an interesting film. I'll just say one thing for you, and maybe one thing there to look out for. So there are a few scenes which have their fire. So either something
fire's always one of them
get blown up, or there's fire involved. So just bear that in mind when you look at the film and think they're sort of visuals, because some scenes work and some scenes don't with that.
Fire is always hit and miss as well. It doesn't matter what size budget they have. If fire's always dodgy. Like Stargate SG-1 is a really good example of they used petrol to make little
explosions,
fire bombs, because
it looks way better than CGI fire.
And it's literally like a little tiny cap full of it, so it's really cost effective. But there are times then in that where they have like explosions in space, and you look at it and you kind of go, ugh.
Yeah.
So it is, fire is just one of those things. It's kind of like water when they did not Captain Planet, FAB. I've forgotten the name.
What?
Fucking Thunderbirds.
What?
Thunderbirds, and what was the other one? Captain Mysterion, and then there was the ones with the puppets.
Captain Scarlet.
Yes, sorry. And what was the underwater one? Stingray.
Yes.
And trying to make water look small just doesn't work. The droplets were always massive.
Yeah.
And fire always looked massive. What would be a tiny flame was like engulfing a building.
But CG fire is always one of those worrying things. It's always worrying. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that when we go on to End of Days.
Yeah, please do. But no, great. Good film. An interesting film.
The director actually makes a short cameo as the pilot who flies Kelly down to Maine at the very start of the film. I discovered.
Oh, she asks him to please not talk to her.
Yeah.
The politest she is to anybody.
And even then, it's kind of bitchy.
Yeah.
Because he's just trying to give her information about the flight, and she's like, just don't talk to me.
Yeah, go away.
That's interesting.
But that's about all I know about the director.
Well, Steve Miner, so he directed the first two, the Friday the 13th. So that's where I know him their best from. Certainly, their directing wise. But and it was interesting because this film wasn't particularly they're sort of gory. But what I love about the first two, their Fridays, is that they are gory. They are the most sort of gory of the films, and then it actually gets less they sort of gory as it goes on. But I did think that so. And you mentioned it earlier there, the scene where the deputy gets his head. They're sort of bitten off, and I was like, "Oh, we could have had some blood spurting or something else going on." He's competent director. Certainly, he's a good director.
And that actually has just kind of made me consider something there. Considering we've got a good horror director, because he also directed Halloween H2O when this was delayed due to bad weather. He went off and directed Halloween H2O and then came back and did this. And then you've got a writer who's written so many shows and a cast that's as good as it is. This only has like 5.4 on IMDb and a 38 on Metacritic, and I can't understand it.
People don't like monster films.
But
people just think
but
monster
it's so
films are
good.
stupid. Yeah, I know, but people just think monster films are stupid. They don't, like, that's the whole point, is that it's man versus beast. It's, can we outthink this thing that's been doing its thing for millennia and is an apex predator and not a fucking, it is a keystone species, but not in this fucking context.
Yeah, you took umbrage with that, didn't you?
I really did. It's not what it means.
Yeah. It's interesting as well. So for a film like this, you know, it is a horror film, this sort of creature film. I think it's unusual actually to have so many quality this sort of people working on it. So like sort of cast wise, you know, like sort of Bridget Fonda was at her peak at this time. She was, you know, she was right up there. There's sort of Oliver Platt, Billy Pullman, who usually wouldn't be in a film like this in their sort of peak sort of era.
Yeah, and this would have been peak Bill Pullman, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
99.
99, yeah.
Yeah, So like you would do a horror film at the start of your their sort of career, or maybe sort of later on, but in that sort of peak time that you wouldn't really do it. I mean, but you know, just sort of quality throughout. Stanley Winston, the music's by John Ottman. Again, another quality their sort of composer as well. I mean, you know, someone who scored big their films. It's in a way, it's maybe too well made for what it is. In a way,
Yeah, or was it marketed wrong? Because I always kind of, this for me, I don't think of it as like a horror film or like a monster movie. It's more in the vein of like it's part summer blockbuster as well, because it doesn't take itself very seriously.
Yeah, but it was also up against Deep Blue Sea, same year.
Oh,
but that's
a terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
but Big Shark, like Shark, it was Shark versus Alligator.
Oh, hang on. When was Anaconda? Was Anaconda around around the same time, maybe a bit earlier? Were people just kind of tired of?
And The Matrix was out that year.
Yeah, were people maybe tired of big monster one big solitary monster movies
doing its thing? Like, because when was Godzilla?
98, I think.
Have a look. Let's see.
And The Relic, which we did a few weeks ago,
and The Mummy was out in 99 as well, and The Mummy was such a huge success.
The Mummy was huge, yeah.
Like, I don't think anything stood up against The Mummy, except for maybe The Matrix.
So The Mummy and The Matrix were out the same year as this. Maybe that's why. But that still doesn't really explain the low rating to me anyway. I think it's a really good film. I think it deserves at least more than 5.4 anyway.
That's an interesting one. So IMDb,
I'm ravenous.
If something, there's usually a huge shift between in sort of quality between something that's rated in the 4s and something in the 5s. There tends to be a big shift between, so something that's rated say 4.2 could be pretty rubbish.
Yeah.
Something that's rated like this one 5.4 is actually, it's got lots going for it, lots of their sort of quality. So it's it's a strange one. If something's rated 5 and over on their IMDb, I'm more likely to think there'll be some really good stuff in that.
Yeah, because a lot of what we cover tends to have the 6.5 rating on IMDb, and we always love it. And maybe it's just our taste. No taste, so. Yeah, or our lack of taste.
In fairness, Super Mario Brothers is one of my favorite films, and then the fucking Secret of Nim, which is about mice. little cartoon mice. Like fuck that.
But some of the films we've covered have had like Bunraku. I think has like a 3 point something on IMDb. But I really, really love Bunraku. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
We really enjoyed that.
It's a visual feast.
Yeah,
it is. Baraka is another one that just kind of gets.
Well, Baraka's a different beast altogether. Because it's not really a conventional film. There's
it's a collection of events or observations.
But yeah, I think, and I don't even know that this film has much of a cult following, really, does it?
It's interesting. I'll tell you what. I think the best way they to maybe see about that is when we stick it out and see what sort of this sort of reaction that we get from their people, because I think that's always a good way to gauge it. So. Crikey! There is a monster going across the screen there as we speak.
One of our cats being unusually silent, appearing on screen as opposed to appearing in audio.
Nope, there she goes.
I did. I'm in this sort of Discord. They chat with lots of other film there folk, and I mentioned about watching this film and doing the guest slot, and lots of people came back and said that they like it. So
good.
I think it's going to be So it did as well. Interestingly enough, it had. I think it had at least 3 TV sequels.
Yeah, 4. I saw that. There was a 2, there was 3.
And there was Lake Placid Legacy.
There was Lake Placid Legacy.
In
and
2018.
There was Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there might even be another one that's like Lake Placid Returns or something like that. So
they all look awful.
There was
they do all look awful, and you like to do films in 3s, so I might be letting you take the sequels.
Well, you know what's funny? You should mention that, because there is this weird sort of side the genre where lots of films like this one actually do get TV their sequels. So they, believe it or not, the original The Stepford Wives from the 1975 has got 3 the TV sequels there to it, and there's lots of other films which are the same. Which is just absolutely fascinating.
One of our absolute all-time favorite properties is a TV spin-off from a big Hollywood movie in Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah, it's like
4.
Uh-huh.
And that was,
and then another 2 films.
Yeah, two made for TV films and 3 TV shows. So yeah, we're all for it.
And has just been acquired by Amazon Prime.
We might get some new Stargate eventually.
But yeah, it's a fascinating thing. There's lots of things that have sort of TV versions that you maybe don't know about. So, thinking back to the 70s, Westworld. So now we know Westworld's a big.
Big now.
There's a HBO.
Yeah,
I think do it so big, massive. The series. There was a very short-lived Westworld TV series from 1980. I think it got about 6. Their sort of episodes. Like I said, didn't last very long. But folk don't know about that. It's like, what Westworld got a TV series back then? It's like, yeah.
I was vaguely aware of the old one as well.
Sure, Blazing Saddles had very briefly had a TV series.
I think it was just a pilot.
They still tried.
We have a special edition Blazing Saddles DVD, and they have the pilot for the Blazing Saddles TV show, and it is woeful. It is so bad.
There's lots of odd sort of TV sort of spin-offs that they didn't last very long, or as we know, they're remakes. So funnily enough, one I did cover on my podcast, and going back to this sort of Betty White, and there was a pilot made for the American version of the Fawlty Towers.
There was a few, I think. Wasn't there? There was didn't they try it a few times?
There is actually 3 American versions of it.
Yeah.
but the first one didn't get past their pilot stage, and the Betty White actually plays the Sybil Fawlty role.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, I'd have confidence in her ability to do it.
It doesn't actually work.
Oh.
No.
Because
She's not acidic enough.
She's not. No, she's just
plenty acidic in this.
No, but no. She's still kind of lovable. It's like when your nan swears at you for the first time. When you're like 16 and she calls you a little bastard and you're like, ooh, hello. Especially my nan, because she was from Belfast, so she
had the accent.
Yeah, it was brilliant. No, she doesn't have that, because when you think about Sybil on the phone eating chocolate going, I know, and Basil's trying to tell her something and she's just like,
yeah, I suppose.
She doesn't have that venom of being married to somebody for so long that you loathe, but you're stuck with them.
No, definitely not. I tell you what I do like about this one, and actually going back to this sort of Betty White in the day of the film, and obviously spoilers, but what we do find out is that the Betty White's actually feeding the this sort of crocodile, and she thinks of them as like her sort of family, or her their sort of pets, as it were. And of course, you know, Betty White did obviously they sort of pass away not that long ago. But one of the things that she did, she was very big on her animal their sort of welfare. They're looking after animals. She was an animal their sort of lover, had their sort of dogs, and did lots of their sort of charity work for sort of animal their sort of charities. And I did think that was nice, actually. This sort of character also does lots of nice work for their sort of animals, just its killer their sort of crocodiles, which is slightly different.
That is actually kind of neatly brings me on to one of the last things that I think I'd like to bring up. Is it's nice. It was really refreshing to see a monster film where at the end of the monster film there's a genuine effort to try and save the monster, which is refreshing.
Yeah. No,
that they go from once they
realize
it's
150 years old, we need to save it. Like, this thing's a freaking
this is a 1 in a million crocodile.
Yeah,
he's huge. He's ancient. He's in a lake in Maine.
The only thing we know about that lives that long are like Greenland sharks, and that's because they live in incredibly deep, incredibly cold water. So how the fuck does a crocodile, mind you, like when you're that big, nothing else is going to really eat you, and that's kind of the main thing, that they eat each other.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of cannibalism in the crocodile alligator world, but that's what, once you get to a certain size, it's only things like human intervention that are going to stop it. So it is kind of fascinating to think that a crocodile, if it lived that long, could get that big, because we know Tuatara do. Tuatara could just keep on getting bigger, and so do lobsters. So why not a crocodile in a lake in Maine? Yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe it was just it
or Loch Ness.
Thinking about it in 2022 when nobody seems to want to listen to scientists anymore.
Yeah,
it was nice to see a monster film end on a note of conservation and listening to sensible people.
They were going to go keep it in like an empty oil storage facility.
Well, that was, I assume, just short term.
Well,
we have somewhere we can store it.
They did have it on the back of a flatbed, which would have been a fun day.
That's a nice ending shot as well. The giant crocodile on the back of the truck.
I loved that. That was brilliant, wasn't it? It was great.
On the freeway.
It also led to one of my favorite bits of trivia in IMDb, which was that a typical flatbed truck in the United States is around 48 to 53 foot in length and around 8.5 foot across, meaning the crocodile on the flatbed at the end of the film would be at least 45 foot long. The rig depicted in the scene is a single axle tractor pulling a trailer that is at most 35 foot long, putting the croc somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 foot. And I like that this person went through all the effort to try and mathematically work out how big the croc was, despite the fact that they say 30 foot about roughly 10 times in the film.
Roughly. Yeah, but people do that.
I just thought that was kind of funny.
People do just, come on, we do that. We go, hang on. No, and go
Well,
and
yeah,
work it
I
out?
would, but not if the film has already bothered to work it out for me.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's just the model.
I don't necessarily need to verify the information.
I was like,
the
cool.
film
They
is
just
given.
filmed the model arriving on set.
Oh, that it is. It's just that is the model being transported.
Yeah, because I've seen the ones where they moved one of the T-Rexes for one of the like the show that we went to see, the Dinosaurs Live.
Oh yeah.
Those big model animatronic like dinosaurs, and
Being
they just
moved on
have
the back of
them.
trucks.
Yeah, they just have them on open bed trucks just to give people on the motorway something to look at.
That would have been a sight, I'd say, if you were anywhere near filming and that thing drove past you.
Yeah.
What?
In fairness, some of the given where I grew up, a lot of filming happens around where I grew up as a kid. So we got used to seeing all sorts of weird shit going past on the back of lorries. Most recently, they did Disenchanted.
Yeah. But didn't they reshoot all the stuff that they shot in Ireland in England?
No, not all of it, because the bridge I threw up off is still in it.
And similarly, despite this film taking place in Maine, apparently none of it was shot in Maine.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a shame, because it actually is really pretty, and it would have been a really good kind of like, hey, come visit Maine. It doesn't actually have giant crocodiles, but look, it's kind of pretty. Come camp. I bet it smells really fresh. It looks like it does. And beavers, I'm always down for a beaver.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could use it as an advertisement for
No,
Maine
it did
if
actually
it were
look
shot in Maine.
genuinely like charming, and like the little town that they were in before they fuck off.
Yeah, I will say, apart from the giant crocodile, it looks
Yeah.
like a nice place
Like
to be.
it looked like a really nice place to have like a little cabin on the lake.
Yeah, I'd take Betty White's place.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Uh-huh. Yeah, I would go there. Yeah, it looks lovely.
But I think that about wraps it up for Lake Placid, unless there's anything you'd like to add, Ian.
Just one thing actually. So,
of course, yeah.
Just for the cast, and at the start, so Bridget Fonda's boss stroke their boyfriend is played by Adam Arkin, which is Alan Arkin's son. Which
tying it back into our chat earlier.
So I love. Well, he came up and I was looking, because I don't think he's actually they're sort of credited on their screen for it at all.
No, I didn't see him actually.
And I was looking at him and I was like, "Who is that? I know who it is." And so it's Adam Arkin.
He's Trevor.
So it was great to see him.
Trevor, was that it?
Yeah, he's the one that he broke up with her.
The boss, yeah.
Yeah. To go off
the cheating
to
boss.
get back with Mariska Hegarty.
Of course, yeah, we didn't even mention Mariska Hegarty
For her
as a very brief
appearance.
role at the start of the film as the other woman.
Yes. And coming in and trying to be all like, but we're friends, really? No, die.
But yeah, no, it is. It was a delight to go and rewatch this film. I hadn't watched it in years, I think, and I'm glad you suggested it, Kira. And what? You did suggest it.
Yeah, I know, because I love it. Monster gonna monster.
Yeah, monster is gonna monster. No, definitely holds up. Still really enjoyable. Nice, short, punchy film.
Yeah. Sarcastic sheriff. What more do you need?
And of course, Ian, thanks for joining us. And would you like to remind folks where they can find you before we finish off?
Well, sort of podcast wise, and on any era players, Apple, Spotify, all of the places, Cult Connections. Social media wise, there's only really one place that I hang out, and that is their sort of Twitter. So you will find me there. You will actually find me there at Connections, their cult. So it's changed around a little bit, but I am there. So if you have a search before it falls there to bits or gets taken over by they're sort of Nazis, and that is where you'll find me. So
we are much the same. Don't worry. As our listeners know, they are well used to backwards Twitter handles, because our Twitter handle is rantsmono.
Rantsmono, yeah.
And though we do have an Instagram page, we don't use it. It's monorants_the_boys. And we have an email address as well where people can send their own rants. It's monorantspodcast@gmail.com. And Ian, thanks for joining us again. It's been a delight.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. It's been absolutely brilliant. Loved it.
Instead of encouraging people to go back and listen to previous episodes, I'm going to ask them to go and check you out if they haven't already.
Thank you very much.
And we will be back next week with our usual undecided films.
Yes.
Yep. Thanks for listening, guys.
Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are Monorats.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable and Open Pike Night.
This is Sci-Fi.